Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafty Castle, and today I have another kind of simple card for you guys. I have had this stencil. This is the Mandala burst stencil from Gina Designs, and I've had it in my stash for a very long time. I don't know how long. But it's definitely been in there for a while. I'm pretty sure I got it when it first came out. It may have even been in a kit at some point that I got from Gina. And I haven't used it. And I was going through some stuff the other day and found it. And had this really cool idea to do like a rainbow kind of thing with it. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing this rainbow thing. And I decided to do 2 cards today, because I had 2 similar yet different ideas in my head, and I just wanted to put them in the same video so we could see both of them and kind of compare them. So this is the first one we're doing, and this one is my brighter rainbow colors, and I'm taking the stencil all the way to the edge of the card. The next one will end it in the more of the middle of the card, and then we'll use a more pastel-ish rainbow, which I should have done that one first if I was thinking about it, because those colors are lighter and these colors are brighter. So using the same brushes, it kind of messes up the colors a little bit on the pastel rainbow that we're going to do in a little bit here. So I should have done them the other way, but that's fine. And then the other part of this, things don't always work out the way you want them to or think about them, is I knew what I was making for this video. I knew the vision I had in my head, except for the fact that I forgot to check my sketchbook before I did this. So if you know, I sketched all of my cards for the rest of the year out in my Trinity Stamps like sketchbook planner thing that they have, and I did that way back in May. It was in May. And I remembered the plan for this one, so I didn't go back and look at it in my sketchbook until the very end, when I started to put the pictures into my sketchbook and couldn't find it, but I knew it was in there, and then realized that at one point I had planned for this to be a 5x7 card, and that's not what ended up happening. These are all A2 cards, both of them. But I don't think I would have gotten the thought to do the second card that I did. I think. So we've done the first card. I also decided this is the part when I started to realize I should have done this one first, because this one is also going to get some Astro paste on it. So I should have done this one first so that I could dry. But then I started thinking about sparkles. So I ended up deciding I wanted to add sparkles to the other one too, but I didn't want to do the Astro paste because I like the way the Astro paste really looks over light colors more than over bright colors. So I ended up just doing some little extra some sparkle spray over the top of it, and it gives it you can't even see it on camera. You can't honestly see it in the pictures at the end either, because it's just so subtle, but it does add a nice little subtle sparkle to the card that I am always a fan of. It just makes it look very pretty. So because I used the darker colors first, which this is when I realized I shouldn't have done that, I had decided to actually clean off my brushes. I still don't get everything off of them, so I'm not trying that hard, but I did spray them with my Bruce Monroe brush cleaner stuff and try to give them a good clean, more than just wiping them off like I normally would, just because I was going in for lighter colors and I just used them in some really bright colors. Normally I wouldn't do that. I would just let them do what they're going to do and come out the way they want, but I really wanted to keep this more of a pastel, so I tried to clean some of it off. It really didn't I got a ton of ink off the brushes, but it didn't really make a difference as far as keeping the colors lighter. You'll see as I start to ink blend here in a little bit that it really didn't help. in terms of keeping my pastel sort of vibe that I was going for. They still end up fairly bright, the colors. But once I add the Astro Paste over the top, it does pastel them out a little bit. It lightens them up a little bit because the Astro Paste is clear, but the glitter that is in the Astro Paste that makes it sparkly is white. So like it makes the things frosty, which is appropriate because the name of the color is called Frostbite. But it does kind of give everything a little bit of a frosty white overlay, which then helps make these all a little more pastel than. And now I guess and it's one of those things where like I'm looking at it on the camera now, and it looks a lot more pastel on the camera than I thought it did in real life until I put the Astro Paste on. So it's hard to tell if it's like, if I was just patient and really let the ink dry, if it would have gone pastel anyway, or if it's just not as bright as I thought it was in my head and it just didn't look exactly like I envisioned it. And, you know, like, sometimes we get in our own way with stuff like that. But now I'm just putting the Astro Paste, and I wanted to, there's two things here, I should have mentioned this earlier, that I kind of messed up here. There weren't huge mess ups, but one you're going to see in a second here as I pull this off. But I forgot, this is like the halfway card, right? I pretty much just like did this stencil in half. And the funny part to me is that I was already thinking like this would have been a really cool like fun fold idea if you just made like that half of the card like your card front basically, and then cut it off right at the end and then had it go through to the back. I don't know if that makes any sense. Probably not. I have noted it to myself to do a card like that in the future. That just wasn't what I wanted to do in this video, so I didn't do it. Except I also forgot that I should have masked off the other half of the card base, and I didn't do that. So obviously I got ink over the edge of my stencil. So what you saw me doing just there was trying to get it off with a stand eraser, and it was working. It totally was, but I ended up just deciding we were just going to modify it, and I was just going to cut that piece off. There is a little spot of the paper that the tape ripped when I pulled the stencil up too, so I ended up deciding it would be easier to just like cut it off and be done with it. And the other thing is, this wasn't really a mistake. It's just like, do as I say and not as I did kind of situation. I would never normally put Astro Paste, Lunar Paste, any kind of paste gel situation on a stencil when it's on a sticky mat like that, because it's not that you necessarily have to like clean sticky mats, but they're hard to clean, right? And if you like run them underwater, you run the risk of them getting not sticky anymore. So I should have taken that off, and or just like not done the stencil on the sticky mat at all for that one, honestly. But it worked out fine. It actually did clean off the sticky mat really well, and my sticky mats are very well loved, so they get very, very inky. I don't usually like clean them off or anything, so you don't really need to. But I had to get the Astro Paste off of it, so I quickly like grabbed a paper towel and wiped off the Astro Paste that was on the sticky mat, and it actually came up really good, and actually pulled up some of the ink too, so that was kind of nice. And it is still sticky as far as I can tell. It's right on the edge of it though, so like kind of hard to tell long-term effects of doing that. But here's what I was talking about. So the last card is done already. We zoomed through that, and it was a pretty simple layout. I had a really hard time with the grading for that one though, but we got to figure it out. Then this is the one where I just cut off that extra edge, and I was going to do it on a white cardstock, but my white didn't quite match, so because I thought I could cover up the fact that I had cut it off. But the white didn't quite match, so you could really tell. So I was like, okay, we're just going to have fun. And I grabbed out this green card base, and I die cut this little fun border piece. And at this point, I really probably should have just gone with my idea to like cut off the front part of the card base too. But I was not in the mood. So that'll be another video. I have it, like I said, I have a little note thing going with video ideas for essentially next year, because that's where I'm at planning wise, is into next year. So I have a little thing going, but I actually really like how this came out. I think it would have been really fun to like add a pattern paper or something too, but since this was not my original plan, I wasn't really prepared for that. And then I just have this little happy birthday die cut that I'm going to add on here because I am running out of birthday cards again. So I need to replenish my birthday card stash, and I've got a couple anniversary cards I need to do, and I've got a baby card I need to do. So next week is actually our challenge week. So we're going to do a challenge, one of my little stash builder challenges, which is usually either Kendra's card challenge or a sheet load of cards, and we're doing sheet load of cards for July. Is I need to restock my stash a little bit. So that's what we're doing. I've already started filming it, obviously, because I'm talking about it, and usually I haven't done that, but this time I have. So, like I said, really easy ink blended cards today, but just some fun with stencils and some different layouts and using a stencil in 2 different ways. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll see you again soon, and have a crafty day.